consciousness underneath the surface. As long as I'm interpreting the behaviors, I'm stuck in the egoic interpretations, and I'm stuck in those dark emotions. When I release it, then I'm free. And so that started a whole synergy. I remember one time showing Groundhog Day down in Colombia too, and going through and pausing, and the whole thing with Bill Murray and the loop of time, and I could start to teach that there is another way. There is a way to escape the loop, and they were all fascinated by that. And just listening to them giggle and laugh. There was a teenage girl in front of me when I was showing it, and she was just laughing and bursting and laughing and crying and healing through the whole movie. And I could just feel it. I thought, what a wonderful use of time and space to use it for healing. Instead of using it to stay stuck in time, use it to release yourself from time and the repetition of the ego's repetition of time. Because the ego invented linear time to keep the mind guilty. And so my mission in life has been to free the mind. And then, as it progressed, then this book came through me, The Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. Lots of tools, like Byron Katie has like a worksheet, and of course the turn it around and the 4 questions and so forth. Spirit gave me a 12-step worksheet, and I started using that sometimes with movies, and I started blending different tools that the Spirit was giving me to rapidly peel the onion of consciousness, to rapidly clear away the unconscious, which was really my prayer. How can I go release the unconscious in a faster way that should bring me closer to Source? And so I started to realize too that people needed to feel safe, they needed to feel relaxed, and they really needed to start to feel the potential and build their confidence for this unwinding of the ego. And movies were fantastic for that, because most people, when they watch a movie, they're there for entertainment, and they're very relaxed, and their mind is very open and receptive to ideas. So I could let the Spirit shoot through there, and I did realize that I developed this Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. Our community grew up, and we built this thing called Mystical Mind Training, which was an audio-visual mind training tool that was online. A friend of mine, Lila, used it. She was on the module 1 of maybe 12 or 15 modules, and she had a mystical experience. She was laid out on the floor for some hours in a mystical experience from just working with the first module of the Mystical Mind Training Program. And I'm like, okay, this is unconventional, not typical meditation and contemplation, but it's working. The movies, there was a woman who had been studying A Course in Miracles for 14 years, and then I think it was the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind movie with commentary that she sprung into her first ever mystical experience during the middle of the movie. And then afterwards had the tears just streaming down her face, and all she could say to me was, God is real! God is real! I've been working on this book for 14 years, doing the lessons and reading and practicing, and one huge mystical experience in the middle of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And I just smiled at her, and I gave her a big hug, and I said, yeah, your spiritual journey has just gone off now to a new level, because when you have a direct experience of Source, then your confidence level starts to shoot up as far as, opening and really going for it. It went from a grind into, God is real, and I'm coming, I'm going to go for it. And then, I started to get like a nickname after quite a few years, because I was sharing so much. I would put all these talks and gatherings on the internet and started uploading videos and working on a Spreaker channel and putting all these audios and doing hundreds, literally, probably thousands of hours of satsangs online, and then people start to plug into that and go deeper into that and use all of that. And then I started to get this nickname. They said, David's a tech mystic. Usually those words don't typically, historically go together, but tech mystic. And so I was like, oh yeah, I guess kind of. It taken a lot of surrender, because when I was in university, I really did like computers. I did all this traveling around the United States and all these spontaneous holy encounters. Before there was cell phones, I wasn't using email, wasn't using cell phones, and then years later, people would come to me and say, hey, what about your email list? And I said, what email list? And they said, you're supposed to, if you travel and you meet people, you're supposed to develop like an email list. And I said, why? They're like, the tech mystic who doesn't have an email list. Oh, how can we even fathom this? So I actually got into a part where we're working with people in our collaborations in our community. We took this like Instrument for Peace workshop, and we took these levels of mind, map of the mind that I mentioned earlier. Perception on the outer ring, then the emotions underneath the perceptions, then the thoughts, the cognition under the emotions, and then the beliefs underneath the thoughts, and then the desire, the core. It's what Jesus gave me. He gave me a map of the mind, and he said, starting with the center, that's where your causation is, that's your point of power, your prayer, and everything goes out towards the projection, but it all is coming from consciousness. You know, we've all been trained in science to think that the sound waves go in and hit the eardrum, and then the neurological impulses go to the brain. Now, these are like your Bose speakers. This is where the sound gets generated from consciousness and through the ears. It goes this way, it doesn't go this way. And we think light comes in through the retina and the image is no, we've had it all backwards, and even our science was wrong. Our Newtonian science is all messed up too. Its consciousness generates everything through the brain, through the five senses, and these are projectors. These are not receptors of light. These are projectors of light. It's consciousness projecting what's in the mind. And this is why much of science is still in the Stone Age, because much of science is still in Newtonian. Somehow the world's outside of us, and it's an external world that can be measured, and it comes in through our five senses. But I've even worked with people having experiences with out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, where they're above their body and they're looking down at their body. And I said, tell me about it. And they say, I can see my body. I can hear noises in the room. Whether it's in a coma or an out-of-body experience, and I say, very good. If you can still perceive your body from the corner of the room, and you can still hear the sounds of the breathing, and you can still smell it, then it must be what? That your five senses are not in your body, that they're part of your mind. If you can perceive from up the top of the room, what are there, little eyeballs up there, little ears sticking up in the corner of the room? No. Oh, there's a great insight. The five senses are not part of the body. Whew. Big spiritual awareness, using examples, teaching people the power of their mind, the power of consciousness, and learn how to train it and develop it and discipline it and align it with spirit. That's what this is all really about. And so then these 12 different steps were put into, of all things, a Facebook bot. That's right. I want to add another tool to your spiritual awakening, a Facebook bot. where you go in and the bot basically says, how are you feeling? And you write into the bot, you send a message to the bot and you tell it how you're feeling. If you're upset, this bot will work with you and will do the inquiry for you. It will start with where you're feeling and what you're perceiving, and it's a bot that's designed and built on these levels of mind that I talk about, and also built on these steps, but it's put in an interactive bot. So you start the bot by telling it how you feel, what you're going through, and then it takes you down, down, down in your mind to release what you're holding on to in your subconscious mind. Well, that's kind of interesting. A Facebook bot. No one never thought of my spiritual awakening journey involving that. And some of you know the iPhone. You can use it's Siri on the iPhone. So this bot is named Spiri. So Spiri is designed to help you go through more unconscious darkness, get in touch with your unconscious beliefs that you're holding on. Because when you're upset, you're really upsetting yourself. There's nothing in the world upsetting you. It's something going on in your consciousness is where the upset is. And then Spiri helps you go and get in touch with what that is. And then actually will offer you, if you get stuck at a certain point, it will recommend like a video to watch or a tool to use. And so it's very interactive. Sometimes it's like it gives you some medicine, not in a typical way, but it gives you some tools that you may want to explore as you go down into your mind. And then finally people were saying again, like, well, yeah, but I don't always have Facebook with me and everything. Can you make this into an app for my Android or for my iOS, for my iPhone? Yes, so now we have an app version to download for free for your Android or your iOS system, so you can actually just use it with your phone. Maybe you're out and you don't have an internet connection, and you've got some panic happening there. You can just still go into your Spiri app right there on your smartphone, whatever it is, and work it. These are just examples of how once the mind gets clear, then the fruits of the Spirit come up with all types of interactions, collaborations, ways of getting you out of your ego comfort zone and stretching you into an expansion of your awareness, expansion of consciousness. There's actually one point in A Course in Miracles where Jesus says that the body is solely a means of communication, and then another point where he says the body is only for expanding your awareness. Wow, in a world where the body is used in so many different applications, in so many different ways, for so many things, here is the way, the truth, and the life giving a little tip, a little pointer saying, it's to expand your perception, expand your awareness. You can expand your perception. You can release the limits that you place on perception from your mind through using your body as a symbol among other symbols, but not giving it more importance or less importance than a learning device. That's important when we wake up, because the ego uses the body as an alter identity. You know, if you're not spirit, the ego's like, well, here, you're a personality, and then all the guilt that comes to try to live with that. So that's my gig for tonight. Now, it's 8:02. Why don't we have some Jenny and Greg, you and Bran and Alexandra want to come up, and here we will have others that are practicing A Course in Miracles for some years and facing all the kind of things that all of us are facing, the human condition and all of the things that go with the human condition of facing things around, lack, around body issues, around image issues and everything. And to me, it's kind of a treat to have a